First record I played was this one, Mama Soul. This one means a lot to me because it was introduced to me by my mum, who is literally the epitome of Mama Soul. So she was into soul music when she was young, and she's pretty much passed on all her knowledge and all her kind of love for soul onto me. And I think that's probably like the best thing that she could have ever done for me, you know, like I don't want all the material stuff, you know, and for her to kind of teach me everything I know. For me, you know, when I listen to this song and they're screaming, you know, Mama Soul, for me that's kind of what I want to do, you know, because my mom is just like the best part of my life, you know. She gave me what I cherish and will cherish for the rest of my life, and that is soul music. So yeah, that goes out to my mom, Mama Soul. The next song I played was this one, Nico Gomez, Baila Tu Bi Moi, which is like a wicked Latin funk track, which I bought when I went to Paris to play for the Soul Parade guys. I was on a really tight budget when I went to Paris, and so I saw this and it was £30, and like with anyone who collects vinyl, I went into the shop and I said, okay, I'm just gonna maybe like buy some cheap records, you know, maybe not even buy something. And I was like, I saw this and I heard it, and the guys from Paris, they introduced me to it because I mean I really love the Latin funk stuff, and so they showed me this and I was like, oh man, like can I really like afford it? And I decided to get it, and it was probably like one of the best decisions ever. Like I love playing this. Like it's just so hyped. It's got like a real like fuzz guitar to it, and yeah, but I think it broke the bank a little bit when I bought it. So I'll always have the memory of having no money in my bank account when I bought this one. The third track I played was Barbara Dane, I'm On My Way, which is like probably for me one of the best 60s rhythm and blues songs of all time. This was the song that really got me into that kind of 60s R&B stuff, because before that I was definitely listening like a lot to the real like proper northern soul. This song, I love the way it like goes quiet in the middle. It goes like ding 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 ding. So you got like this kind of bass solo, and then it's like da 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 da. For me, that kind of build up in the song is why it has to go in this top 10, you know? So like it just gets me so hyped every time. Every time I listen to it, I just like da 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 da. So yeah, that was Barbara Dane, I'm On My Way. My fourth track that I played is a little bit of a silly one actually, because I think it might have even been my first gig that I played, so I obviously didn't have like a lot of experience, and I was queuing up these records. Now the record is Right Now by Mel Torme. A lot of people know it for The Other Side, Coming Home Baby, which was the side I thought I was queuing up. And I had no idea what the other side sounded like because I'd never heard this side. And so when I queued it up wrong and I brought it in, and it was like, I was like, oh no, this is not the song I thought it was. And I don't know how I ended up queuing it up wrong, I just did. But actually, when I started listening to it, because I was like, okay, just run with it. But I started listening to the song, and even though it's a little bit fast, I was like, hey, this song is actually really, like, this is lit, like I can get behind this. And so I tried to, you know, depending on where I am and what gigs I'm playing, like I'll always like switch it up, because both songs are like wicked. But yeah, that's the story behind this record. On to the fifth record. The fifth record I played was Timmy Euro, I Ain't Gonna Cry No More. When I got into Northern Soul, obviously like I really loved the kind of 100-mile-per-hour kind of driving beat to dance to. And it wasn't until I went to the 100 Club that I found out what the meaning of mid-tempo is. And also rhythm and blues as well, because they kind of add that into, they kind of incorporate it into the night. I can't remember exactly where I heard this track, but I know that it was one of the first tracks that I listened to of this sound. I instantly like fell in love with it. I was like, oh my God, like, you know, when I started exploring the different types of soul music and which ones I really love. I mean, honestly, I really love a sassy, girly, like mid-tempo-y R&B track. Like for me, like if I'm just listening to soul music, or even if I'm playing it out, like that's what I really love. And this song pretty much sums up every single one of those. It is like the ultimate girly, you know, like get out of my life kind of songs. So yeah, that's why I put this one in the top 10. The next one gets a little bit more crossover-y now, not so much R&B. That's Check Yourself by the IAPs. I heard this one in a second room at a Northern Soul night. So in the first room they were playing the stomping Northern Soul, and I went into the other room, which was kind of the alternative Northern Soul room, and I heard this and I thought, wow, what the hell is this? Because I was very much stuck in my 60s 100 mile per hour, and it was when I heard this song that I thought, oh, okay, like I can dance kind of differently to this. This is, you know, this is cool. This song specifically started getting me into that kind of crossover sound because it's got that very like 70s feel to it, a bit funk-edged. And so yeah, the next step after this was listening to the kind of more smoother stuff, I guess. So yeah, that was the IAPs, Check Yourself. The next song I played, this was Don't Send Nobody Else by A Spectrum. Now this kind of has two stories about it that kind of give me a good memory about this song. So the first one is that I first heard it when I went to Bamberg. Bamberg is like a small place in Germany, in Bavaria, and there they have like this really awesome kind of Northern Soul / modern weekender. So I went there. It was like the first European weekender I'd ever done, and they were playing loads of crossover, and at the time I was really into my kind of like really silky smooth kind of crossover stuff. And so when I heard this, I was like, no way, like this song is so good. And I just literally didn't stop listening to it for like weeks and weeks and weeks on end when I got back. Now recently, like I've only actually just acquired this. So this is like the second story as to why it gives me good memories. Just recently in January, I went to Switzerland and someone had it in their box for like £5, I think, so like, or like the equivalent in like Swiss currency, and so, you know, that was really cheap. But it was actually another guy, the guy who was promoting the event I was at, he bought it and he gave it to me as a present because he knew how much I liked the song. And honestly, like when he gave it to me, it was kind of a bit of a surprise because I was gonna buy it anyway, and then he was just like, oh, here, like I got it for you, and I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, just it's yours. And I was like, oh man, like, and you know, that's one of the friendships I hold really dear. The guy that brought me up to Switzerland to do the workshops, like, he's just like the nicest guy. You can really tell he loves his soul music. When someone gives you a record, something as kind of valuable as vinyl, it always kind of gives you that kind of good memory that, oh, so and so gave me that. So yeah, that's kind of like the two stories as to why it's in my top 10. So that was A Spectrum, Don't Send Nobody Else. Now this song I used in my latest YouTube Northern Soul video. So it's called Northern Soul, a modern one, because this is a very modern track. And I only just acquired this. It's I Want to Be Loved by Stevenson Foster. It has recently been reissued, if I'm correct. And I've put this in because it's probably one of the favorite songs I've ever danced to on my YouTube channel, because when I first heard it, and it's got that piano at the beginning, like, I was like, when you hear that piano, you're like, oh, okay, like this is a good song. And then it suddenly comes in with the bass, and it's like, and you're just like, whoa, like, I instantly knew I had to dance to it. I was like, oh, I have to do a dance video to this record, just because it's so fun. And actually the dance video is just in one take, because I think, like, I love the song so much, it was just really nice to put across that kind of passion in the video and just have it in one take, you know, rather than edit it, because it's just one of those songs that you can have so much fun to, and it's one that I always play out now. I always like to put it in towards the end of my set, because it's just kind of like, you know, that the night is kind of getting old, and you know, it's gonna come towards the end. But yeah, that was Stevenson Foster's I Want to Be Loved. Really, honestly, freaking awesome track. This is Gloria Lynn, You Don't Have to Be a Tower of Strength. Now this one means so much to me. This song, I would say, more or less single-handedly got me into soul music and kind of helped me understand what soul music is. So it was on a CD that my mum made for me. And like I said, my mum has taught me everything I know about soul music. And so when she made me this CD, this was the song that I pretty much had on repeat the entire time. So that was You Don't Have to Be a Tower of Strength by Gloria Lynn. And I don't know why, it just went so perfect with the holiday that we were on at the time. So I have really fond memories of driving through the mountains to that song, you know. Next up, we have another slow one, or slow-ish one. This is Honey on the Vine by Matt Monroe. Now, this was the song which introduced me to what you would call popcorn, which is not the popcorn you eat, obviously, but the popcorn that originated from Belgium. It kind of gave me my love for the kind of popcorn style music, you know, that kind of, I mean, I really loved the mid-tempo anyway, so this was just like another dimension to the kind of mid-tempo stuff. It was that very kind of like clip-cloppy soul, I like to call it, you know, dun, 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 you know, it kind of comes very much from that kind of R&B thing, but it's a lot slower and it's just really fun to shimmy around to. And I think that's it.
It can't compare with love you've got, sweet honey on the vine.
That was my 10 meaningful records.